Okay, continuation.
White supremacy. What did Charlamagne mean when he talked about white supremacy? What did Charlamagne mean when he talked about white supremacy, white privilege?
It's a good question. What does Charlemagne mean when he's talking about white supremacy and white privilege? I mean, when we hear white supremacy, that's kind of like a clear, no matter my stance, when I hear white supremacy, I know exactly what that refers to because nobody is trying to keep somebody from, being the light that they are, so that's that. But again, when you say white privilege, like, I get it. I know what you're talking about. But again, whoever you're talking about, if they're not like us, they could be understanding those words, starting that conversation you're trying to have in a whole different path than the one that you want to go down, that you are trying to go down. But just, I don't know, man. I just don't think you see just how much both of you probably weren't ready to have this conversation with each other, which is sad because this is honestly a conversation that needs to be cleared up. I think I can clear it up, but you have the platform, bro.
Steven, he broke it down so eloquently. Rush broke it down like he knew exactly what it was. And I was like, so why were you playing clueless when we was having the conversation? So like,
because he's trying to figure out if you know what you're talking about.
It didn't feel productive, man. It felt like a waste of my time.
It wasn't productive.
Well, I think that it has something to do with your sense of protecting your own power. And in his own studio, he might have more of the courage to look something in the eyes. But in your studio, it's like you're on somebody else's court and you don't want to give them a point.
Well, we did a simulcast, because we both work for iHeartMedia, so the powers that be were like, hey, Rush has this whole epiphany about the murder of Big Floyd, and he thinks it was wrong.
These conversations. Thanks for being.
These situations happen, which is white supremacy, which is white privilege. Then what kind of conversation are we really having?
Well, I hope we'll continue.
Wrong, and he wants the police to be arrested, and he wants to talk about it. So I thought that would have been powerful, because I always think it's great when white people use their privilege to combat prejudice. But if you can't get to the root of why
white people use their privilege to combat prejudice. Listen, what is that? What did you just say there, bro? White people use their privilege to combat prejudice. And then you go into
these situations, wants to talk about it. So I thought that would have been powerful, because I always think it's great when white people use their privilege to combat prejudice. But if you can't get to the root of why these situations happen, which is
if you can't get to the root of why these situations happen, which is
white supremacy, which is
no, the root of the problem is the way you are stating the problem.
White privilege, then what kind of conversation are we really having?
Not a conversation.
Well, I hope we'll continue these conversations. Thanks for being here, man.
Steven,
Charlamagne the God, everybody. We'll be right back with a performance by Tunde Adebimpe.
Listen, bro.